All right, welcome out to the another episode of the Pirates Cove podcast. I've got the whole crew back with me this Tuesday evening. I've got Big T, Tony Pena. Tony, how you doing this evening?
Doing good, doing good.
And then we've got the Z-Man, Johnny Zavala. How you doing, Johnny?
Doing good, doing good, doing good.
And then, of course, we've got the coach, Mr. Steve Cantu. How you doing, Coach?
Blessed, brother. Happy to be here.
All right. Well, last week we were talking softball, of course, and we had a lot of fun. We had, for the first time, we had a father and daughter, Mikey and Ron Dominguez, and we had a great time talking with them softball. We're going to talk softball again this evening. We're going to talk about the Rockport Fulton All-Stars, our major girls that went down and won district. And then, of course, they went to sectionals. And then, we didn't do as good as we wanted to do down in sectionals. But we do got the head coach. He's also part of the Pirates Cove team, the coach. And we've got some questions for him. And then he's also going to talk about his experience up there and tell us a little bit about, give us his thoughts on what happened up in sectionals and what we need to do next year to make sure that the outcome is different. So we're glad to have him here and break down, because that's what we're going to do from now on. We're going to break down. We're going to get some closure to the season, right? We're going to be doing that for football, hopefully volleyball, and all of our sports. Once the season ends, we may wait a couple of weeks before we bring in a coach and just kind of reflect back on the season and then talk about players that may be returning and what to look forward to next year. I think that's something that we want to do here on the podcast. So I'm going to pass it over to Big T, Tony Pena. He's got some questions for the coach. Go ahead.
Go on, Coach.
How's it going, Tony?
All right, let's see what I got here. All right. So first question I got for you is, how long have you been coaching the Rockport Little League girls?
Okay, so I moved here in 07 and I started coaching in 08. 08 was my first year.
Mm-hmm. All right, you've been coaching since then?
I've been coaching ever since then. Yeah, I haven't missed a season.
Wow, awesome. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So this next question is kind of just to see how you kind of got into it. Do you have a kid, or have you had a kid playing on the team?
Yeah. Actually, and when we moved down, my middle daughter was 8-9 years old, and she didn't play the 07. I didn't coach 07, but in 08, she was a minor softball player. So that was it. I started with her, and then I went with her all the way through, coached her all the way to the juniors. And then I went back, I had such a joy doing it. I went back and I started all the way back over again in the coach pitch ranks. And I had a little niece. Yeah, I had a little niece coaching coming up. So went down and I started back up with her. So that's kind of been the cycle. I've been up and down probably I think I'm on my third tour duty where I'd, go to coach pitch, take a team all the way to the junior division and then start back over. So yeah, that's how it all got started for me.
Yeah, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What was the most memorable game that you coached in?
Wow. My most memorable season was the 2014 season. 2014, we took a team all the way to state, and we won state, and then went to the like a super regional. And that year was my most memorable. But if I had to pick one specific game, we were playing in Lockhart, and we were in the sectional division, and we had a hard rain come through. So, they send both teams into the dugout, and we kind of waited out the rain. And we went back to play in a little light drizzle, no lightning, no problem. So we went back in to finish the game. And we had a little girl pitching for us that year. Port Aransas didn't have a junior girls team. So we were able to pick up a girl from Port Aransas. They had to sign a bunch of waivers. And anyway, we had her pitching, and she was younger. She was a 12-year-old. So she was playing with 13 and 14-year-olds. I remember that she was young, but she had these really huge hands. And so she was able to throw the ball in the rain and that light drizzle. She had a big old massive hand, so she was able to grip the ball. And she wasn't a fastball thrower. She had more finesse to her game, so she was able to still throw the ball for strikes and move it side to side. And we came back. We were down in that game. It was kind of back and forth. I remember we were playing. What is the name of the Go Big Blue? Let me try to remember. Yoakum. So we're playing Yoakum, and we were back and forth. And like I said, the rain delays and everything. And, big play after big play defensively kept us in the game. And we were able to pull out the win and move on to state, winning sectionals there. So that game, seeing how long it was and the back and forth and the rain, and that was my most memorable win.
Awesome. Great story.
Yeah.
That is all I have, Gabriel. Thank you, Coach.
Johnny?
Yes, sir.
Steve,
Yes, sir.
how was the experience with you and the girls that stayed at the motel room? Like, what did y'all do and stuff like that? How was it?
Hey, so every time we do things like this, go on these little runs, and we're able to get together and go out of town, get out of Rockport for a little bit. It's a joy. I enjoy it all, right? I enjoy the practices, obviously the games, but the team building, prior to, leading up to that, the fundraising that we do, the little things that we do as a team, those are all great things, and I enjoy them. I have lots of fun with them. Actually, I probably have more fun than the girls do sometimes. But being at the hotel, it can be challenging, because they're girls, right? And they're all pranksters, and I could remember years of them, coming and toilet paper in my room, and just little pranks like that and stuff like that. They didn't have a lot of that this year. We were more they were more tame this year. But team breakfasts is big. I always like to do team. So we'll have a team meeting followed by team breakfast, and then after that we'll go to our rooms and come back, and everything is together. And I really enjoy my time, in the hotels. Is cool. The girls get a chance to, be goofy, and, board games and stuff like that. I got introduced to TikTok on this trip right here, and made my first TikTok video. The girl said I'm TikTok famous now because I have 14 views on one of my my videos. So, that's what it's all about. The girls are going to remember all of these things. I had a good friend of mine, former player. She was actually on that 2014 game. And I was just reading comments. She was actually commenting on something else. It was even after the tournament. But she recalled those hotel stays. I think she seen my video or something like that. And I remember her, I just read her comment. It was Miranda Arejona. She commented like, "Oh my God, I remember those days of, just goofing around in the hotel." So, that's proof that it sticks with you, that you remember all these things, and they're all cherished memories. So, I have a blast every time we do it. I have a blast.
That's great how they like bond and stuff like that. That's a true team. Me and Gabriel have heard the stories of the varsity girls, how they hung out together, always did this together, always went places together. It was like someone said that they didn't really have a life. It was just like hanging out with their own sisters,
Yeah,
And, I guess that's where it starts, somewhere down here, y'all
Yeah.
building that championship, that experience, and bonding as one, that builds up after years and years and years.
Yeah. And you know what's special about it is that, as a true all-star team, because Rockport, we are a true all-star team. We have all-star selections, and you put the team together, and you have, maybe sometimes 2 weeks to put the team together and start practicing and gelling. So, there's a lot to say about how quick a team can come together, you know what I'm saying? So, because we don't have that season together, like a lot of these towns that we go play where they're the only team in that town. So, it's like, it is a select team. So you go out there to All-Stars and you bring your, girls pick, and then you fill out the roster. You bring that team to go play against teams that play together all year. So, that's where that's where the bumps in the roads can come in, and you face some great teams that have been playing together, because like you said, there's a lot to say about team bonding and building, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes we don't have as much time as I wish we did.
Yeah, true. Now, in y'all's sectional tournament, who was the toughest opponent y'all faced?
Wow. We got handed a really good loss our opening game in sectionals. Ganado came out and put a whooping on us. We came out super flat, a bit intimidated. They had this huge pitcher. She looked like she was 7 foot, but she's about 6 foot, but throwing from 40 feet. You might as well be 7 foot tall to some of our girls. So I'm not going to go with that one, because, they beat us up pretty good. They were a really great team. I'm going to have to go with the team that we played against, a Needville team, who I felt that we could play with them. We were just as good or better than them. And, unfortunately, we had to play them again in Lockhart, again, another rain game. And, but in this one, the umpire, using his discretion, didn't send the girls. There's no lightning, but it was a heavy downpour. Heavy, the heaviest rain I've ever played in. And we were forced to play through that rain. And then before they finally called it, so that one for me stung the most. So I'm gonna have to say that one's the most memorable. Although they did call the game before the end, right before the game was decided, they called the game. Unfortunately, they were able to build up a lead while we were on defense, on the mound, and they were able to build up a lead that we couldn't catch up. Once we restarted the game, we just couldn't catch up. It was just too big of a deficit. So for me, that's going to have to be it right there, that game.
So the team that won that sectional, did you follow the girls or how far they went, or are they still playing?
Yeah, no, they're not playing anymore. But yeah, they that team that beat us up pretty good, right? That first game, Ganado, they went on to win that tournament, that sectional tournament. Then they went to state, and they didn't drop a game in state. They breezed right through it, and they went to the that regional tournament, and they won one and then lost 2, but they won their first game and then lost to a strong Louisiana team.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
One day it'd be us. One day.
Yeah, one day. Hey, that's why you keep you keep going out there. For me, that 2014 season just kind of bit me, and you keep wanting to go back, right? You keep wanting to go back, and like, hey, man, someday, we're gonna get to get back to state again and do all that. I jokingly told the girls, like I said, I correspond with that team, the 2014 team, from time to time. Some of the girls will cross paths on Facebook on a message or whatever. And I told them that was the bar, right? That was the bar that we set. And all these other girls kind of have to live up to that, and try to surpass that. So, I mean, it gives you something to strive for sure. And, and that's where you come back and the girls continue to, because they've heard all the stories and they know how great it would be to get there. So, I mean, the girls are all hungry to get there. I mean, what's crazy is like this team right here that I have right now, this age group that I'm with right now, we've been to sectional 3 of the past 4 years. So, and then the 1 year that we didn't go, well, it was COVID. So we didn't have a season. So, we've won district and lost the sectionals with this almost exact team for the last 4 years. So, it's getting tougher and tougher, to swallow every year. So, I mean, sooner or later we'll get there.
So let's go back. I heard about you talking about the missed opportunity, good game against Meadville. I'm pretty sure there were other games I think I heard about a lot of parents complaining about officiating in these games.
Yeah.
These umpires. Yeah. My question is I don't know how Little League does it. What is a process as far as reporting an umpire for bad, I would say judgment calls, maybe sometimes judgment calls, but bad calls? Would you have to have like proof, not just hearsay, this would happen,
Yeah.
What's the process as far as like reporting an umpire? That way, let's say for next season, a great team is not eliminated because of bad officiating.
Yeah. So, first off, I'll touch on maybe where the parents were, looking for, bad calls or doing this and that. I mean, first and foremost, as a coach, I always tell the girls, it's played between the lines. I'm saying it's on the player, it's on the coaches, to make those plays. If they're close, and the call goes the other way against you, that, hey, just get there quicker next time, get to the ball faster, make it to where, he can see it, not to, where it's not as close of a judgment call. So you don't feel that bad, right? I mean, I never try to put it back on the umpires, the game's played by players and coached by coaches, what I'm saying? So they're there to officiate and just, call the rules by the rules. But so it's tough, because a lot of the disgruntledness came from about balls and strikes. And, obviously, you can't argue balls and strikes. They tell you that as soon as you walk up, that you learn that the very first year, and when you start coaching, hey, balls and strikes are non-negotiable. You can't change the call. So, but, it's tough. It's tough on the pitchers and the parents. They pay lots of money. They spend money on coaches and go to all these camps and stuff to learn how to throw strikes, not over the plate, right? You get what I'm saying? Not directly, not meatballs. They're paying all this money to throw, balls are moving, catch an edge here, edge there. That's why they're paying all that money. So, so okay, the girl don't get those calls, and then, they start to get this, start to get in a little funk or whatever, and then it kind of goes away. But so that's touching on that. But as far as like I can elaborate that story that I told you about the rain game. So in that rain game, just say for instance in the 2014 game that I told you we had a rain delay and there was a long game. Well, the umpire used his discretion to say, hey, you know what, this is unsafe to play in this weather. Let's send the girls to the dugout. And, we sent the girls to the dugout. Fortunately, they slowed up and we were able to resume. And this other rain game that we played in, the umpire didn't use his discretion as well. What I'm saying? We actually played through, some terrible weather. And what was crazy is that she was pitching a great game. The first 2 batters she faced, actually, no, 2 of the first 3 batters that she faced in that particular inning, she struck out. And, 1, 2, 3. And then the rain came and then all the walks start. So, I mean, it's pretty apparent, I think, somebody could, look, that isn't even officiating could look at the game and say, hey, this game's getting out of hand, but it's not because the pitchers can't throw strikes, it's because of the rain. So finally, once the umpire used his discretion to say, hey, it's unsafe because my pitcher started to slip, he called the halt to the game. So when I went up to the press box to talk to, about, hey, what we're going to do, this, that, the other, everybody was talking about, because there's 4 games going on at this complex and they're all having similar issues, playing through the rain. Some umpires use the discretion to stop the game earlier, and then, some didn't. So, so the process is, you file a formal complaint, and it's got to be done on paper. So you got to, get it written up. Luckily, I had a great friend that was, able to put my words to paper, and she was able, because, what I would have wrote, it would have probably sound like gibberish. So, she put it together for me and submit, sent it back to me, and I submitted it. And my gripe was, whether the umpire used the discretion when to stop the game, what I'm saying? And that was my only thing about it. So that's the process. You got to fill out that paper, and they send it in, and they'll go to Waco, and then if Waco don't have the answer, it'll go to Williamsport. You'll get an answer, whether it's the one you want or the one you don't want, So we did, and our it got denied. I said, because like I said about balls and strikes, it's under the umpire's discretion, what I'm saying? So you can't argue that call. So the protest that I put forward wasn't, you couldn't protest it. It was one of those rules that you can't file a protest against because it's a judgment call. So, I mean, under that umpire's judgment, it was, good enough to play the weather. And, unfortunately, like I said, we were on the wrong end of it, but, hey, you live and learn, and I don't hold no grudges, it was funny, because I can remember, and Chino's there, and then Coach Steven, I'm standing at the gate. It's our very first game. We're playing against Ganado, and, game hadn't started yet, in walks this umpire. And I meet him at the gate, he comes in on our side, and he stops and he looks at me. He goes, I don't even need to see your badge. I know all about you. I mean, I'm looking around like, what? What did I miss? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I hadn't even, I didn't introduce myself. I didn't say hi to him. I didn't say anything. You try to stay neutral. And yeah, and that guy, so unbeknownst to me, I guess my reputation precedes me. And the guy knew everything he wanted to know about me. So, and that's kind of the way, I guess, parents caught wind of that, and they're like, oh, well, that was it. That was your, that was your warning. And you already knew which kind of way it was going to go. But, I don't put any stock into that. You still gotta, you gotta throw ball, you gotta throw strikes, and you gotta hit the ball. And unfortunately, we didn't bring those offensive numbers with us from district into sections. And that's where it boils down to.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll skip a little forward on this. I think I'm gonna let Gabriel talk a little bit about this. Gabriel, I'll ask this later after you talk to him.
Well, I just wanted to kind of break some things down with Steve. I didn't follow these girls up until they got into the district. I didn't follow a lot of them during the league. But I got very into when they got into district, and I was following them, and Steve was sending me some stats, and these girls just looked dominant in district. Yeah. They just, it wasn't, they had one close game, which was against Refugio 1-0. Other than that, Maddie was just pitching lights out every game, being consistent. Yeah. With strikeouts. We were hitting the ball. It just looked good, and then you get up to sectionals, and all of a sudden you just, the team that you saw in district, it was like a totally different team. So, I don't know what you want to say about that. I don't know if I'm like you, Coach. I'm not going to blame the umps. I've been seeing a lot of football. We've got good umps. We've got bad umps. We got, good officiating and bad officiating. But at the end of the day, you just got to take what's there and go play. And I just found it strange, Coach, that, we struggled. I thought we would do, better. And, sometimes the competition's better, but I thought our girls were a lot better than what they played. And, there's some intimidation, I think, that does play into that. But they can also see, when the game's getting away. And if you got a pitcher up there that starts off real good, rain comes down and you start struggling, it changes everything. And I think umpires, I wasn't there, right? But if you can see that, the rain is pouring down, you got to stop play for both teams. It doesn't matter because you're not playing on fair grounds. The team that's batting's got the advantage, right? Because they don't have to swing.
They don't have to swing.
They don't have to swing. I mean, you can walk, and we saw that with the Rockport girls when we won Game 2 of our playoffs. I mean, we saw their pitcher, Bernie's pitcher in Game 2. They struggled in that rain.
Yeah.
We were hitting the ball, we were getting people on base. So the batting team has the advantage when it rains. The outfielding, the team that's on the field, they struggle, and the game got away. It seems really, really quick. And even though they stopped it, like you said, and then they played it again, I think it was the next day or something, the lead was already too much to overcome. So to me, it just kind of struck me like, man, what happened down there? And I wanted to ask and get your point of what you thought. I was reading a lot of comments, and a lot of our parents were not happy. And I was kind of reading all the comments that were there, and I wasn't there. And I was like, wow. So I was trying to catch bits and pieces. My question to you would be, moving forward, how many of these girls on the majors will be coming back and staying with the major team?
Okay, well, as far as the majors go, we have let's see, 6 of them that are going to stay down. 5 of them that are going to stay down in the majors, and then everybody else moves up. So there'll be a split. They'll be have 5 returners, and then look to try to build from the first year majors. So I think there's going to be enough. There's going to be enough girls that are in the majors that are going to stay behind. They're going to have great pitching. They're going to have good infield, and that's one thing we always try. We always try to set up for the following year. I mean, that's kind of how you carry over. You bring that kid that's borderline, and you give her that experience of making an all-star team, and then that's going to set her up for the following season. When she's there, and then she assumes that role. So I look forward to big things for both divisions next year. I think the majors is going to be contenders in the major division. Although the one thing that keep an eye out for is that Ingleside team that won state in the minors, they're moving up to the majors next year, so they'll be major. So there'll be some competition with Ingleside next year because like I said, that little girl, that 10U team, the minor division, won state. So there's going to be some great competition in district next year for the majors, no doubt. And then, like I said, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
And then, of course, the juniors. We got those other 6 girls that are going to go to the junior division. Then we have some juniors that are going to be returning to the junior division next year. So we're going to have a great mix of first year and second year juniors. And we've made runs. It's kind of like I tell you, that this group has been playing together for the last, for the last 6 years actually, but we've been competing for flags for the last 4 years. So every other year we get this older group. So this is actually just reuniting some of the teams that I've already had from years past with the girls. So they just go, they're 1 year away, and then we're back together again, and then the 1 year we're young, and then we're back with the old one. So I just enjoy the process, and I think they're going to they're both divisions are going to do well next year. I see district flags coming back for sure.
Coach, where will Coach Steve be next year? Majors? Will you move up to the juniors, or has that decision not been made yet?
Yeah, no, I always move up. I'm always 1 year ahead of Chino. Chino usually stays back one additional year. Chino's daughter is younger. So, Chino's daughter is actually, too young to be on our team, but we carry her. That's just the way Coach Chino, he's always done it. He's moved up early. So when I move up, Chino stays back because of his daughter, and in her age. So, and then it gives her a year to play in the division that she needs to be in. And then the following year we'll move her up again and she'll be back. So that's kind of the way we've been doing it. So we'll coach together for a year, then we'll split for a year, and then we're back together, and then we'll split, and then we're back together.
Well, Coach, listen, we look forward to covering. This was the first year that the Pirates Cove actually, covered, and of course, because I knew you, it was really easy to kind of get with the girls and see what they were doing. But next year when this happens, we want to be able to cover all. Hopefully, we'll have a bigger team where we can cover the majors. You can cover the minors, the juniors. Yeah. We also want to, go over to the other side to the baseball. I know that we didn't do that this year, and I got asked a lot of questions about, hey, how about baseball? And it just made it easier because I already knew you. I didn't know the other coaches, but this will give us time for next year to be able to cover our baseball team as well and see what they're doing. Because the one thing we want to do here on the Pirates Cove is not just take care of our varsity level people, but kids in all sports. But we also want to be able to cover what the JV and the freshmen. We're doing that with volleyball, football this year, basketball, baseball, softball, and the junior high level is another area that we're going to be covering as well, talking about them on our Wednesday podcast. And so next year when this comes around, we definitely want to be better prepared to be able to cover our softball girls and on our baseball, because this is what you're going to see up on the varsity level here in the next few years, right? So it's really important to be able to talk to the coaches that are coaching this youth. I've always said since I started this podcast, it doesn't start in junior high. It starts with our youth programs and the coaches that are on our youth level, teaching these kids the fundamentals, getting them out there and showing them the work that it's going to take coming out to practice. And then it goes up to the junior high. And then, of course, it goes up into the high school. So it's really important for us to cover that and get the coaches, not just talk about the players that are and what they're doing on the field, because I think that's exciting. But bringing in the coaches that are coaching them, these kids are too small to bring them up and talk to them at that level, right? So it's about bringing in the coaches and letting the coaches explain to the community what is it that they're doing. How well are we doing in our regular season? How prepared are we in the All-Stars to get to the district, win the flag, like you said, and then hitting over the sectionals? I think breaking it down with the coaches is real important. So I really enjoyed being able to cover the girls. You were sending me the stats. It made it really easy for me to just kind of jot down in my own words what they were doing. And I think people get excited. I know, Coach, that I get excited. Just this is the first year that I got into softball, with the girls. Johnny knew the girls a lot better, our varsity girls, than I did. I knew a couple of them, and I'd read the article here and there. But when I went to the game, it was exciting. And then just covering these girls. And I get excited, when you see Jones. I forgot her first name. What's her first name? Jayla Jones. I mean, I'm seeing what she's doing. And then, of course, Maddie, the way she was pitching. It's just exciting on the podcast to see a young girl that way, getting all these strikeouts. And we had just seen Sierra pitch like this on the varsity level. Then you got another up-and-coming lady Pirate here that's just doing really good at this level. And then just the rest of those girls, and the runs and then the referral 1-0. And wow, man, we didn't score nothing, but we were able to, stay competitive and win, because you don't always beat teams 15-0. So all of that stuff was just exciting. So we're really excited about being able to cover all the All-Stars next year. Before I send it over back to Johnny, because I know he's got some questions. I did want to talk to you about what you're doing now. I know that recently you started, you got a team called the Rockport Crush, I think. Is that correct?
Yeah, RF Crush,
And I want you to talk a little bit about, on this podcast, what it is that you're doing, the divisions that you got. I know you just had tryouts. I was out there one day with you, and I saw a bunch of girls coming out, and I was like, wow, it's going to be pretty good. But since then, you started something here in Rockport that I think is going to be very helpful in the years to come in developing our girls. I just want you to talk a little bit about what you're doing, what you got set up with your team, the Rockport Crush.
Yeah. So, I got all of 15 minutes out of Lockhart. And I told Chino, I was like, man, you know what? We gotta do more. We gotta do more. We gotta prepare better. We gotta get these girls playing more softball. You know, we're losing the teams that are playing together, you know, year round, and you can tell, they're playing lots of softball and they're putting in the work. You know, I mean, they're better. I mean, I'm just saying that they're playing more softball, and that's the thing. You know, I mean, in order to get better, you have to play more softball. So, yeah, I was like 15 minutes out of town, and I started sending, and I hit the message board, and I'm like, I'm putting together an organization. You know, I need to get these girls playing more softball. We need to be able to compete. You know, going to sectionals and losing, four times in a row didn't sit well with me. And I've always said I wanted to do more, and I always tell Chino, hey, let's play some more ball. And sometimes we'll play, we'll go over to Pony, and Chino played over there one year, some fall ball, or I'll go to Portland. I put together a team, or I was part of a team that went to Portland and did a fall season there. But it just wasn't enough. I've never stayed with it consistently. So yeah, I made the decision. You know what, man, we need to be playing more ball, and it's not just my team or my age group. We need to start something where we can start with the little ones and work our way up. And just have an organization where kids can play more softball. So yeah, that's what I did. I made some calls. I know some guys, some really some good coaches that are into it. And they've encouraged me in the past. Hey, you should do something. You should do something. And this year I put it together, and I made those calls, and those guys answered the bell. I got some good coaches, some good head coaches lined up for the girls, and I posted that, hey, we're having tryouts. And, of course, they were spaced out, 10U, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds. And I put it out there, and, few people shared it, and this and this and that. So, come tryout day, I didn't know if anybody was going to come. I didn't know, no one had sent, you can't RSVP for this, what I'm saying? So you just put it out there, and you see what happens, see what's going to happen. So it was pretty apparent after our first tryout that Rockport was hungry. They wanted this, they wanted more softball. They've been waiting for it. And the girls came out, and as one of the things I shared with our league president was like, our organization president was like, hey man, they came. I was pleasantly surprised at the turnout that we got, and we were able to put together a 10U team, 2 12U teams, and a 14U team. So, I could say that, Rockport was definitely hungry. They were ready for it. And, they came out in droves. So, we're out here practicing on the fields now. 10U's got a tournament this weekend, actually, on the 14th. They're going to play in a tournament in Portland. And then, of course, the 12U and 14U, they're setting up for a tournament on the 21st. So, man, we're about putting the cleats in the red dirt, man, and getting them out there and playing some more ball and getting better as a town. And so we can go out there and compete for some more flags, what I'm saying? And then, let it transfer over to the high school level and bring us a state championship. So that's what it's all about, man. Just improving, getting better.
Hey, Coach, you know what? I'm excited. I really am, because that's what it's take. You're seeing what it's going to take, like you said, to get that state title. And it starts at our youth program. And I would encourage, sponsors. I don't know if that's what you need, sponsors, but whatever you need, whatever we can do here on the Pirates Cove, as far as, we get going, definitely, I told you if I, we can sponsor you in any way. We'd love to. Getting the information out. You can use this page. That's what this page is here for, not just for you, but for anything, for football. I know youth football has been putting it out there. You don't have to wait on me. This is what you share. We've got a couple of followers here. Put down whatever you need on this page, so you can get your message out to the parents. If this will help out, hey, this is what we're doing. Get whatever you got going on. Use this page here on the Pirates Cove. It's for our Rockport athletes, whether it's youth at the middle school or at the varsity level. Get it out. Let's be supportive of our programs. For anybody that can sponsor and help, whatever we need, let's keep it going. it's real important, you know, and you need the support of the community to continue to keep it going and do what you do. So we're going to continue until we get back next year to continue to bring light and just kind of bring you back. Well, you're on this all the time with us, but just to continue to talk about this softball and what you're doing, because I don't want it to go away. I want people to understand as you build and make it bigger, we need to let the community know, and they need to get excited with what you and the rest of the youth coaches are doing for softball here in Rockwood. So I just appreciate everything you're doing, Coach. And may the good Lord be with you, because I know you're taking on a lot, man. You're coming here on the podcast. I mean, you work your full-time job, and then you got to be doing this. So I know all this is from passion, man, because if you didn't have the passion, you wouldn't be doing it, man. And you're going to be rewarded at some point down the line. I can guarantee you that. Johnny, do you have anything else for Coach Steve?
Yeah. Well, since you're going up to juniors next year, you know, Chino needs a little help next year. You know, I might be interested.
There you go.
I'm gonna jump
loosen
on
up the old
bandwagon too.
Hey, man.
I don't
I'm sure. I'm sure he'll welcome it, man. That'd be awesome to get you out there, man. Heck yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to the tournaments over here. Let's go back to the district tournament, the district championship game. You had a player get seriously injured. How's she doing these days?
Hey, she's back. Yeah, let me tell you, she's back. She came out. I played in the tournament on the 30th in Victoria with that 14U team. And, you know, and I talked to her mom. Her mom we had been in contact, and she told me that she was going to get released on the 3rd. You know, she was going to get her medical release. And I sent her a text, you know, here we are. We're 3 days away, you know, let me see where she's at. So I texted her and she came out and played for us. She didn't do any fielding. I didn't let her do any fielding. She got to go to the plate a few times, and I told her it's just about getting back out there and not being scared. She did get hurt, but her youth, and she was able to bounce back pretty quick. So she's back and she's playing, and she's happy to be back out on the diamond for sure.
Very glad to hear that. That's sweet. I didn't think she would recover that fast.
Yeah, she did. Man. She did.
Oh. I want to kind of elaborate about, you were talking about, how great teams are out there. I know you said about that team y'all faced first in the sectionals as far as having a dominant pitcher out there, that can be intimidating, have a big pitcher like that, I know back in my little league days, there was a pitcher from Rances. His name was Baltimore, and you talk to anybody around my age, we were scared of that Baltimore guy. He was also a 6 foot tall pitcher, and his stride was just ridiculous,
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, they won the district, but they got beat too, and that was the reason why I asked about how far did this team go? The pitcher, might be intimidating, but she can get beat, anybody can get beat. There's always somebody better out there.
Sure.
That's one thing these girls, I'm pretty sure might face her again in the future and stuff like that, so hopefully these girls won't be intimidated. They're faced her once, she ain't unbeatable. So there was a team out there that beat her, and I just wanted to throw that out there. And something else. This is why I kind of wanted to Gabriel to talk about it as far as your after the season select team and this and that. That's great that you got going on here in Rockport. My question is I know there's the fall league going on, the polo league and stuff like that. How often are you going to have like tryouts for your own team and stuff like that for like, other girls to get in? I'm pretty sure you're pretty well set. I'm pretty sure you don't want girls coming in and out, through the season, because you want these girls to work as one. How often are you going to have these tryouts?
Well, you know what? I learned really fast that you can't lock down a roster too quick because, things happen, vacations are planned or volleyball comes up. And so you can't really lock down. So I could see us having tryouts, pretty regularly, to fill a slot here and a slot there. Actually, I last week I even reposted that I was looking for a player. I mean, you lose one, plans change, and then you got to fill that spot. So, I didn't know that going in. I thought maybe, hey, lock in a roster and then you're going to see them through. But hey, life happens, and so you really can't do that. So I can see us doing tryouts, even more.
Sweet. That was something that kind of threw me back in my days of reading the Caller Times. It's like teams are having like tryouts for a special position or a special utility player and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was all like, it's nice to see that coming out of Rockport for once.
Yeah.
Not such a major big city. So it's sweet to see that.
It's tough though. Johnny, for me, being a little league coach all these years, and then doing this select ball, because it's in the word, right? It's select ball. So a lot of the they joke with me about it, that I wasn't going to have the heart to make calls and pass on people and stuff like that. So that was actually the toughest part for me, was like not taking everybody, what I'm saying. But that's the nature of the beast, and it just drives those other ones to just work harder. And like I said, there'll be more tryouts, and you just keep trying, as long as they keep trying and keep practicing. What I'm saying.
Yeah, when they can always blossom anytime they're little.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's all I got, Gabriel.
Hey Steve, I do got one more question before I pass it over to Tony. I don't know if he's got anything.
Yes, sir.
But, these girls, you said they were 12 and 13, right? The girls that you got 12. How much time do you spend? Because I know some of these girls can be very athletic and be good, but how much time do you spend as the head coach trying to build the mental part of the game and get them ready when they go into the district? How much time do you spend when you're on the field trying to get the mental part for these girls where they need to be, get ready for a game?
Yeah. So the athletic part, that's the easy part. Those girls bring it by themselves. You know what I'm saying? They are self-motivated, when it comes to being talented. They work hard to get better, and it comes to them. The mental part, Gabe, is the hardest part, especially at this age. They're just not built that way. You know what I'm saying? They're not robots. They're not built that way. They have their lows. They'll strike out the first at bat, and then they'll bring that same at bat to the second at bat, and they'll bring that struggles. So the mental part is the hardest. It's the hardest to get over. It's the hardest to get past. At this age, they're their worst enemies at the plate sometimes, and then on the mound, they could be their worst enemy. So, that is big. We spend a lot of time, trying to, encouraging them and just, hey, you're headed in the right direction. You're doing things to get better. But the mental, that is the toughest one. That's the toughest one. Because where do you coach that? Where's the drills? Where's the drills to become mentally tough? Other than just repetitive stuff and trying to get it over and over and over and over. But if the girls have the breakdown, that's the hard one. That's got to come from within. So, without a doubt, that's a little league's coach's toughest hurdle, is the mental part of the game, for sure.
Yeah, I would think that's the part that's tough. It takes a while to come back and try to build that up, because that plays a big part in these tournaments. How ready are they mentally to be able to take, like you said, a 6-foot pitcher is intimidating. To get your mind right, to be able to get prepared for that game. At that age, I would think it's a lot of work on you and your assistant coaches. Tony, I would anything else you got for Coach Steve before we call it a night?
No, I just want to say thank you for what you've been doing, man. 2008 to now, I mean, that's a long run, and you know, you taking the girls far plenty of times, and I know you want that, you know, that major, you know, championship, and I hope you get it. And you know, I think definitely working on the road to get there with, you know, doing the select ball, and I hope that you know, all the parents that are watching, and the kids that you're coaching, and you know, the kids that hear about it, you know, decide to want it as much as you want it. You know, because they're the ones out there putting in the work, you know what I mean? And it's really up to them. The coach could show up, but it's really up to them. And I hope that they take it. I hope they embrace it the way you're you know, putting it out there for them to. And just all the luck to you and your team, man, and your coaching staff, and like Gabriel said, man, if there's anything you ever need, you know, between all of us, you know, we're here to support you, man, and everything that you're doing.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Z-Man?
On this select team, this all season team, this fall season team, better get us to a World Series next year.
There you go. Amen. Yeah. So from your lips to God, brother.
Steve, before I give you the last word, man, like I said, I know last week, you know, I saw for the first time, I saw you a little emotional on the podcast, and I actually loved it, man. I know you didn't want to, but I actually, I played that tape probably about 10 times since we had the interview. You know, one thing that I thought was that's your connection with them, and that's what I see from you is like, you know, you coached Mike and you coached her in football. You know, like she said, you know, you gave her that opportunity. Like Ron said,
Yeah,
you did play a big part in that confidence, I believe, like Ron was saying, because she had nothing at that time as far as confidence, and putting her on that field, whether she was winning or losing, being on the field with a bunch of players where she shouldn't have been to begin with, and being able to stick it out and you giving her that chance does build that confidence in what you see today. She knew playing with those boys, whether she came out victorious on that Saturday morning or afternoon that she played or not, wasn't what it was there for. She was building, knowing I can play with these guys. I can play. I knew I could, and you gave that opportunity. And I saw that emotion because I was like, that's how much you care. This is not just this is just a game. You get connected. They're like your kids, man. You spend a lot of time with them. Sometimes you might see these girls more than you see your own daughters, right? Because you're just
there's no doubt about there's no doubt about that.
So when you see one of them heading in the right direction and you see one of them heading at the next level, man, I saw that in you. It's and I thought, man, what a beautiful thing, because it's all that work. You're part of that, and you connect with these kids, and you want to see them succeed like the parents do. And I just think it's awesome. I think this community is so lucky to have a coach that puts in this time every day and puts out there, and the parents got to know and feel good that they have a coach that is helping somebody. This community, I think what you are to this community is, we know he's going to be out here no matter what, rain, shine, feeling sick, whatever. You're already built. I know I can count on Coach Steve Cantu. I know he's going to be out here, and parents love that, and they see their kids blossom. And when they get to that high school level and then they go to play at the college level, man, you see that, and they play. They give you a lot of thanks because played a big part when they come out here. Yeah. It's a huge part in having somebody out there that can teach these girls the fundamentals, man. So it's great to have you out here, man. We appreciate it. We're definitely happy that you're part of the Pirates Cove Crew. Yeah. I would give you the last word, Coach. Anything you want to say before we call it a night?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna come out and say there was two girls. Somebody told me this. Elsa Gonzalez, you know, a good friend of mine, sister in Christ. She's like, hey, you know what, Steve, you need to, I've coached two girls that, you know, at one point of their career or the other, that went on and played in their national championship. You know, Lauren Kelly played for a national championship last year, and Lexi Gonzalez played for a national championship this year. So, you know, that just goes to show the little girls that, you know, they just keep pushing, keep trying. And, you know, one day you could reach that dream, man, and playing in a national championship game. So, you know, it's been a blast. I'm having tons of fun. I'm not ready to hang it up, although my wife would probably say, you know, different. You know, I'm here for the long haul. I love the sport. I love the lessons that softball teaches, the life lessons and the skill that it gives the girls. So, that's what we're enjoying doing. So, and of course, doing it with my son by my side, it's even sweeter. So we're having a blast, man.
Absolutely. And the community of Rockport is glad to have Steve Cantu out there, man, helping the kids. Steve, you got to be back on tomorrow. We're going to be back on the PC podcast tomorrow at 7. We are going to have some alumni from the, I think, 93, 94 Rockport Fulton football Pirate season. So we're going to go way back. It was actually Johnny's group. Johnny wasn't a senior. I think he was a junior, but he was on that varsity team. We've invited some of the alumni. I've gotten a response back from 2. I hope they will come on. The others couldn't come on tomorrow. Their schedule is they just couldn't make it. Hopefully we can reschedule. But that's part of what we're going to be doing here. So hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 of the, I think, 94 varsity team. Johnny will be here. We'll kind of be flipping back. We'll kind of go back. That team, I think, went, Johnny, to the second round. You guys went to the second round. I think you were a junior, right? But you went to the second round and we lost to Port Isabel. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right. And back then, there was no overtime, Johnny. It was penetrations, man. So it's a lot different now than it was back then. So we'll definitely be talking about that. And then we'll kind of be reflecting on the season, and we'll have some questions for the guys as far as who was the toughest team back then in the district for our guys. But it's a good season. I do remember going and watching these guys every Friday. And I still know how I felt when we drove out to Port Isabel and we came back and we lost on penetration. So we're definitely going to be talking about that
Awesome.
with some of the guys that come on. We may have 1 or 2 from the 94 year. They graduated back in 94 here in Rockport. And we'll also be talking about the guys, the crew, the Pirates Cove Crew will be kind of talking a bit about the 2021 Rockport season. So tune in to see what these guys have to say about our upcoming football season. We'll also be breaking down the other teams in the district, and we'll kind of see what we got and what's going on, and get the guys' perspective and their opinions on what they think and what can we expect from the other teams in the district. And then, of course, the guys and myself will be given a prediction on who we think the 4 teams from our district will be making the play. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be doing it tomorrow, but we'll have this one uploaded tomorrow at 3 p.m. so you can see it. And then the one for Wednesday will be uploaded on Thursday afternoon at 3. So you can catch it on GT Sports. Our YouTube channel. I changed it, guys. So we were Coast to Coast. Went ahead and changed the company name. It is now GT Sports. So be tuning in on our YouTube channel, GT Sports, and you can catch, to this point, you can catch the podcast. Hopefully, like I said,